It seems like the only constant we have right now in cruising and in cruise news is that protocols continue to change day after day. For those of you cruising, you know that cruise lines are changing their protocols all the time. Most of us are aware when we get on the ship that local islands and local governments also have protocols, but now we're starting to see a much more formal set of protocols be established and shared by local governments. That's exactly what we saw yesterday with the Bahamas. We're going to break down all the fine details of this release from the Bahamas, what it means for you and your cruise, and we have much, much more as well right now on Island Time. A big hello to all you Islanders. It's Friday. We finally made it to the end of the week. And for those of you who are on a cruise ship and you had a Western itinerary, it really seems like today is a lot better than the weather that you experienced yesterday. I saw the video of the pool, the water in the pool going wild. I wonder why they didn't drain it. I saw the waves, and I know for some of you it was uncomfortable, but it looks like today aboard the Vista and the Breeze that it's a great day. It's even a sunny day, it looked like this morning, so that's awesome, and we hope that you get in safe and that you get in on time. And those of you boarding tomorrow, we hope you have a great week. There's big news this week and this weekend for Carnival as another ship is ready to set sail with paying passengers, the Carnival Panorama. And it's great news because it is a West Coast ship now. It's a first West Coast ship there in California to set sail. There are other West Coast ships, of course, leaving out of Seattle and going to the Alaskan itinerary. But this is the first ship for California, and we're very excited for those traveling on the Panorama, who really is basically a brand new ship. If you remember, she was only in service for a little over a year, really, I mean just over a year before COVID hit, as she was the third class ship for the Vista class, the Vista, Horizon, and Panorama. And those in California absolutely love her. So if you're going on the Panorama this weekend, please keep us updated. We hope you have a great cruise. And we are so excited for all you Islanders who are about to cruise this weekend. Now, let me say this, a special note for those on the Breeze who are on the Breeze now and who are going to be on the Breeze this next sailing very, very soon. We got word from those on the ship, from Islanders, that Cookie, the cruise director, was exposed to COVID last week. He was in protocol for much of this cruise, and we know that he is tested for COVID. There are some reports out there that he has tested positive, but there's nothing official yet, so we're not going to declare that. But we're praying for Cookie and for all those exposed who, you know, they can't do their job. Cookie he's the cruise director, but he's in his cabin. He can't do anything. And so we're praying for him. We're praying for others who are also came in contact with those who had COVID. And we pray that first off, that they continue to test negative, and also, of course, for their health. And we hope they return to doing what they love to do very, very soon. Okay, let's get to the big news. Protocols, they continue to change. You know, it's week after week. Used to, we would get new protocols. Now it seems like every 48 to 72 hours, there's some sort of new wrinkle and new protocol. But hats off to you Islanders and you cruisers. You continue to bear the front. You continue to be adaptable, to be flexible. In the fact that you say, you know what, I can do that. That's not a big thing. I have to get a test before I cruise. Okay, I'll do it. I have to wear masks in certain areas of the ship. Okay, I'll do it. So we've been really flexible, and you know, it seems like there's not necessarily a point where something will happen or something's enacted that we say, okay, that's it, I'm not going. Everything right now is reasonable. Yes, it's a change, and yes, it's extra work for some of us, but it's worth it. It really is. And so let's get into this announcement. Before I get into the official announcement from the Bahamas and what it means for us, I do want to thank all of you for yesterday. We made a big cruise announcement, a surprise cruise announcement. We were not expecting to cruise for a little bit, but we are cruising in October on the Breeze. We had several of you said, you know what, I'm going to book October 21st as well because you're going. And that's not Don't do it just for me, do it for you. But know that if you are sailing on the breeze October the 21st, I'm going to be there, and I cannot wait to cruise with you. Now let's get right into this announcement from the Bahamas. The Bahamas yesterday set a vaccine mandate, per se, for cruise ships that are visiting the Bahamas. So the order says this: it was signed by the Prime Minister there, and it takes place September the 3rd. So really, a week away from this being enforced. It's valid through November 1st, which is an important date for many reasons. We know that Carnival and their masking and testing requirements right now are in place until the end of October, the 31st. Also, the conditional sell order. We talked about the conditional sell order yesterday. It's set to expire November 1st. Many think that it will be renewed again or extended. We will see. We don't want to jump in front of anyone there, but I wanted to reference this date. Why November 1st for the Bahamas? That date, October 31st, November 1st, is important for all sorts of different protocols and mandates and agreements. So I wanted to point that out. So what the mandate basically says is that cruise ships must provide a crew and passenger list upon entry to any of the islands there in the Bahamas. They're going to give that manifest, crew and passenger manifest, to the port medical officer. And that manifest is going to disclose the passengers that are on board and the crew, and whether or not crew and passengers are vaccinated. So it will have an individual listing of everyone on there and are you vaccinated. Here's what the order also says: all passengers 12 and older would need to be fully vaccinated, and that is new. We know that Royal Caribbean has really, they've played a big play here in the test sailing, the simulated sailing, so that kids and families could travel together. They've had several ships, a couple of handfuls of ships go through the test sailings so that kids could sail unvaccinated, and they've been successful at that, even though their adult vaccination percentage is way high. It meets a lot of times the 95% threshold, if not higher than that. But this is a change to passengers who are 12 years old to 18, 15 and 18, and some of these children who could be vaccinated on Royal Caribbean and on Carnival. They meet the FDA criteria on age, but maybe the parents chose not to for now, or whatever the reason may be. Royal Caribbean and Carnival would allow some of these passengers to sail unvaccinated. That is not the case. That is not the case anymore for Royal Caribbean or Carnival. I know that there's ships leaving the Magic and the Sunrise, who are, and eventually the Pride even, that are going to be leaving with passengers the age of 12, and they're going to the Bahamas. These passengers will have to be fully vaccinated. So it's either the one-shot Johnson & Johnson with 14 days, or the two-shot Pfizer and Moderna, again with 14 days in between that last administration and the sale date. So I thought this was interesting. I really did, and I don't know the reasoning for this exactly. I tried to do some research here, but this rule does not apply to crew, contractors, and any non-revenue passenger. So for whatever reason, and this was debated and had gone back and forth between the government there in the Bahamas and cruise lines. They wanted to make sure that not every crew member or contractor had to be vaccinated for whatever reason. This strictly applies, though, to passengers over the age of 12, and you're going to have, there is one little loophole in it, that passengers could not be vaccinated, but it would have to be some extreme situation, and I'm not even sure if Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and others will even deal with that loophole, or if they would just say, hey, if you're going on this itinerary that's going to the Bahamas, you're going to have to be vaccinated under the age of 12. This rule is also, this rule is ignored in the case that, and let's hope that this never happens, but if there's an emergency aboard a cruise ship needs to enter port of one of the islands in the Bahamas, this whole mandate does not take effect for those situations. So if a ship is in distress or they need to enter port and they have people on board that are over the age of 12 that are not vaccinated, this is not going to apply. So it's good to also see that passengers entering the Bahamas on a cruise ship are also going to be subject to testing requirements. This is not fully fleshed out yet. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but this is in what was released by the Bahamas yesterday, that there could be testing at certain locations in the Bahamas. So we'll see what that looks like. We saw that a couple of weeks ago in Belize. Passengers aboard the Carnival Vista, if you were pulled aside and said, hey, we want to test you, then you had to comply to be tested to enter, or you got back on the ship. So we will keep an eye on that and see what it looks like there. But this ruling it's said to apply to both cruise ports in the Bahamas, including private islands, which we know Royal Caribbean has a private island there, Coco Cay, the Perfect Day in Coco Cay, or Coco Key as some call it as well. Either is right. It applies to both public and private islands. So that's interesting to hear as well. So the action that Royal Caribbean took, because the Royal Caribbean has a lot of sailings that are going to the Bahamas, Carnival does as well. But yesterday, Royal Caribbean announced that it would change its vaccine policy for ships sailing from Florida to the Bahamas, including its private island, Perfect Day in Coco Key, to comply with the emergency order that the Bahamas, of course, released yesterday. The cruise line already requires proof of vaccination from passengers 12 and older from other U.S. ports, from Texas, from Alaska, but now Royal Caribbean announced late yesterday that they're going to go ahead and mandate, I guess I could use the word, I don't want to, I don't like to, but mandate that passengers over the age of 12 also be fully vaccinated from Florida. So they have already announced that. Royal Caribbean said that guests who have a cruise booked in September to the Bahamas and do not wish to be vaccinated, they do not want to comply with this fully vaccinated mandate for ages 12 and older, can get a full refund, or you can move your cruise. MSC has also said the same thing. And so that's great to see that there is flexibility, and cruise lines have continued to offer that throughout this COVID-19 pandemic and situation. Now, when I heard this news, some of my first thoughts automatically went to, if the Bahamas is going to enforce this on multiple ports and multiple stops, who's next? Who's not to say that the government in Mexico and all the stops that are in Mexico, that they don't say the exact same thing. 12 and older, you must be vaxxed. Belize, Mahogany Bay, the port there in Honduras. And so we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but you have to think, and we've seen it so many times, that once something like this is enacted, it proves to work, that it spreads. We've seen that a lot with cruise lines. Norwegian and Royal Caribbean have been among the first to make a big announcement, and then it follows suit. And so we could see possibly other ports, other islands, other governments take something like this into effect and adopt it locally. So we'll stay tuned and see if that happens. We don't know if it'll necessarily happen quick, but it could happen for sure. There's several stories we're following, including, yes, the ship's making it back this weekend. We're going to give you status updates on Cookie as we hear him aboard the Carnival Breeze. We will announce next time we go live tomorrow. We'll make that announcement. We've got all things planned all weekend for you. So if you have not subscribed yet, you want to be an Islander, hit that subscribe button, click the bell. It will notify you when we go live or when we upload new content. You'll be notified. Not that you have to watch it right then. You might be doing something right then, but at least you'll know it's there. And when you have time, you can watch it and enjoy some time in the islands. That's what it's all about. We'll see you this weekend right here on Island Time.